Welcome to Horror Addicts Season 2.
Boys and girls. So how many of you have ever had to kill a zombie? Well, not too many.
When we are children, we believe the world is full of myths and legends.
There are ghosts around us all the time.
Perhaps it's the head that I found in the lake.
Killing all that get in its way.
It is my professional opinion. We should get the hell out of here.
There are a bunch of fucking vampires out there trying to get in here and suck our fucking blood.
If they find you, they'll kill you.
And what did Santa bring you, honey?
Is that blood on your zombie?
It was a nosebleed.
What the hell was that?
I am God's most desolate creature.
But it's going to be one hell of a night.
Welcome to HorrorAddicts.net, the show by Horror Addicts for Horror Addicts. I'm your host, Emery and Rich, author of Night's vampire pod novel, and your host through this haunted adventure. It's Thursday, March 12th, and this is Horror Addicts.
The worms crawling, the worms crawl out, the worms play pinnacle on your snout.
You've got to be joking.
Your nose,
Thank you. Thank you.
No.
Oh, be nice.
You can't dance, you can't sing. What are you wearing? Is that a carpet or a dirty potato bag?
It's my burial cloth. You'd be good if you raised your voice a little, dog. The worms crawling, the worms crawling.
Stop this. It's a no. What about you, Paula?
Well, I liked your song choice, especially because there are really worms crawling out of your skull. But I'm going to have to say no because of your shoe choice. Half-eaten loafers are definitely out.
Yeah. You weren't bad, dog. I could really see you going to Hollywood. You stay cool, though. I ain't you anyway. I'll go home.
Oh.
Scuttle on home to your crypt now.
Be nice.
Welcome, children of the darkness. We've got a lot to cover this week. I hope you're as excited as I am to be here. We've got death, mayhem, and a selection by the featured author, C.A.Milson. So let's just get right into it. The author for this week is C.A.Milson. A.B. Kovacs, who is a horror addict, was very kind to read his story for us. It's an excerpt from his novel, The Chosen. C.A.Milson has written 26 short stories, 2 novels, and is a guest writer for School English magazine. And here is an excerpt.
Bloodline of Darkness, Chapter 2, Part 1. Like any other workday, Alex arrived home somewhere around 3:30 p.m. after another day at the factory. He parked his car, a white Holden Commodore V6, in the basement car park. He followed his normal routine of sitting in the car and listening to a news update while he enjoyed a cigarette. Satisfied with what he'd heard, he turned off the engine, got out of the car, locked it, and walked towards the elevator. Nothing unusual about that. However, today was different for some reason. As he walked towards the elevator, he had an uneasy feeling he was being watched. He stopped and looked around slowly as he fidgeted with his keys. The jingling of the keys in his hand was the only sound in that place. That should have been enough to satisfy his curiosity, but it wasn't. As he surveyed the empty car park, he happened to notice just how strangely dark one section was. He leaned forward a little to peer into the darkness. Just then, a cold chill swept over him and he trembled. Immediately, a part of him wanted to turn and run for the elevator. It had been a long day and he was tired. However, another part of him wanted to know what was there. Again, that deathly coldness emanated from the darkness and filled the car park. He was afraid of what was there, afraid of the unknown. "Is someone there?" he called out, stopping for a moment to take a long look at that darkness. There was no verbal reply. Instead, he could hear a faint noise that he couldn't make out. At first it sounded like moans. He put his keys in his pocket and started to back away towards the elevator, taking each step slowly until his back was against the wall. Clumsily, he pressed the elevator button repeatedly until he heard the sound of the elevator bell. He turned towards the door anxiously, wanting to get out of there. "Alex!" He heard his name echo in a cold whisper. He turned quickly. Nothing. Nothing except that darkness which seemed to consume the car park. His eyes darted around from one end to the other, but no one was there. He heard the elevator doors open behind him and backed into the elevator, quickly pressing the button to his floor. He watched as the elevator doors closed in front of him. Sighing with a certain relief, he thought that in a matter of moments he would be safe in his apartment. Soon, he would sit down to a lukewarm dinner of spaghetti and discuss the day with his girlfriend from hell and the son he loved dearly. He would watch Seinfeld on TV and fall asleep watching reruns of Star Trek. He was shaken out of his daydream of a perfect life when the elevator suddenly grinded to a stop. He looked at the digital panel above the door that was alternating from 3 to 4, then back to 3. This wasn't the first time this had happened to him in this elevator. He went to press the emergency button, but instead of the alarm sounding off, he was thrown to the floor by a powerful electric charge. Stunned, he looked up at the panel and then at the doors. There was a brief moment of silence before he heard a distinct grinding, as though someone was trying to tear open the elevator car like a tin can. In an instant, the lights flickered and shorted out. The elevator stopped vibrating. He was alone in the darkness, trapped, afraid. He had no idea what to do or what to expect. Silence. Nothing but his own erratic breathing could be heard in the elevator. No sounds from the outside world. No voices. No noise. Slowly, he got to his feet and looked at the buttons on the panel. He hesitated to press any of them in case he got another electric shock. Summoning up his courage, he quickly pressed one of the buttons. Nothing. It didn't even make a noise when he pressed it. Shit, this ain't good. Alex stepped back and looked up at the ceiling. He could faintly make out the outline of an emergency hatch, and for a moment he contemplated the idea of escaping through the ceiling. But his idea was shot to pieces as he knew that the emergency hatch didn't work. He slumped back against the wall and sighed heavily. "This sucks," he whispered. He stepped over to the doors and tried to pry them open, but to no avail. That door was jammed shut. "Hello?" he yelled as loud as he could. Nothing. "Is anyone out there?" Again, nothing. Not a damn sound. Fuck this shit. Alex was too damned tired and old to be afraid of the dark. "Keep telling yourself that, bucko," a voice spoke up in his mind, but it was too faint to really hear. Or more to the point, he didn't even notice. He sighed and fell back against the wall. So this is what it must be like to be fucking blind. "Hardly," a voice said from next to him. He jumped quickly and backed into the corner. Looking around at the darkness around him, he said, "Who the fuck said that?" "Never mind who I am." What do you... You left me, Alex. You left me trapped in that place." "What? You fucking maniac. You left me trapped in hell." The voice was closer now and more frantic. I don't know what..." Suddenly, from the darkness, he could faintly make out a face. A face that was scorched and flesh-eaten. "Take a good look at what you left behind," the voice screamed with anger. That face was clear now and right in front of him. Alex screamed in fear.
You have been listening to an excerpt from a story by C.A.Milson. For more information, go to author CAMilson.info. I want to thank all of you for listening, and if you've enjoyed this show, why not go to iTunes and leave a review saying how much you love it? If you do, Horror Addicts gets popped up higher on the charts, and that just gives us more people to infect with our gory, bloody, vampire-y infection. Until next time, stay spooky.